um, who kept asking me for an entire year. She kept coming back. So keep going back because it might take somebody a year to truly hear you. But she kept asking me to try these products. She kept telling me how amazing they were, how much they had changed everything for her. And I just kept saying to her, Michelle, that is fantastic. Like, I am so glad that they are helping you, but we don't do all natural. Like, I shop the regular aisles of the grocery store. I eat fast food every single day. I drink pop. Like, what am I going to do with an all natural supplement? I don't even take a vitamin. And honestly, a year later, I was, I think 48, no, 46. I was 46. My husband was a few years older than that. And we had gotten to the point where we were seriously, the only way I can explain it is to tell you we were so blah. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I was 46 years old and I kept thinking, if this is what aging is like, I'm out. Like, I'm not real interested in this because I was so miserable. And just my heaviest weight. I was grumpy all the time. I was eating horribly and craving all of that stuff. Um, I just my whole body ached. I actually had been tested for rheumatoid arthritis right before I started the products. Thankfully, it was not that, but just so many reasons where my husband was kind of feeling the same way. And he's the one that finally said, like, those things that Michelle keeps telling you about, like, let's try it. Really, truly, it's that what do we have to lose? Funny, not funny. We didn't have enough money at that point. We actually used to sell two triplex together. We didn't have enough money to buy two so that each of us could, we're both teachers. I'll tell you about that in a minute, but we bought one triplex and we shared it. Again, not expecting that the products would work and not really understanding that we needed to give it time. So it's like, well, let's just try it for a few weeks. If it works, great. We'll figure out how to get another one and it's not going to, so we won't have to worry about it. You guys, I was a huge pop addict. I'm from Michigan, so I call it pop. And when I say that, I was drinking 5 to 6 glasses a day. 5 to 6 glasses a day. And I would tell you that I hated water because I did. I hated water. I never drank water. I hated water. Thank you. Pop. Go, Tiffany. So the very first thing that happened is I got to the end of my first day of having the pink drink. And I actually hate telling people this because I don't want them to think that they're going to have the same kind of results. But I said to my husband, oh my gosh, I haven't had even a sip of pop today. Like, that was so crazy. I was to the point where I was foaming at the mouth on the way driving home from school. And I would drive through, I was craving so badly a McDonald's fountain Coke that I had to drive through. And by the time I got home, which was only about 2 miles, I had already sucked it all down and I was angry about it. Like, that's how bad it was. That was the hold that McDonald's fountain Coke and sugar and all the stuff had on me. And so I got to the end of that first day and I hadn't even had a sip. And that was the craziest thing. So I'm like, huh, okay. Well, maybe there is something to this whole thing. And so it was enough, obviously, to keep us going. And the next thing I noticed was that my energy level. So I was a special education teacher. I'm now retired. Thank you, Plexus. I loved what I did, but I sure love time freedom, and just being able to choose what I get to get up and do every day. And I would go to school and I would have all of the patients for my students. And I was so kind and loving to them. And I would come home to my 3 children and my husband, and the people who deserved the best of me got the leftovers. They got the worst of me. I had zero energy. I pretty much would come home and sit out on the couch and turn the TV on, and that would just run all night while I just sat there. And my poor kids would like ask me to play a game, ask me to go outside, and my answer was like, "Oh, I'm so tired. I had a long day at work today. I just like go play with each other." I had three kids. They could entertain each other, right? Oh my gosh, how sad is that, you guys? It breaks my heart. And I'm going to be honest with you. Our oldest is our son. We have a son and two daughters. I still have guilt, and I've told him this multiple times, and he's probably sick of hearing it, but he just turned 31 in September. And I have guilt that he did not live in our house when I was the Plexus mom. And that's how I describe it. Our daughters got that opportunity. Like they were able to experience the shift in me. And so I have all of this guilt. And I'll tell you, if I could do everything over again, I would have found Plexus 10 years earlier. And it would have changed everything that much sooner for me. And so a couple of other things just to share with you. This is my husband, and I like to share this. We've done this together. The entire time we have totally done it together, even sharing the first triplex. But this was his picture the day that he started the products, and this was his picture, I think about 8 months later. I could have taken it 6 months later, but I just thought this was a really cute picture in the orange shirt. So he has lost 54 pounds. And I also hate talking about that, right? Because our products are not weight loss products, and I don't want people to believe that they are. But when you get your gut healthy, when you balance your blood sugar, when you reduce your inflammation, all of those things, weight loss can be one of the things that you experience. And it was for him. 54 pounds gone. And he is still maintaining that loss. And it'll be 9 years. I don't even think I told you guys that. So from the person who was super skeptical for an entire year, it will be 9 years in January. So this is my husband. And I actually show you his picture because I'm going to show you mine. That was me. That was my lovely school picture. That was taken about a month before I started the products, and I actually got it in my school mailbox the day that I started the products, and I wanted to rip it up and throw it away because I never wanted it to be seen by anybody. But then I thought, no, I'm starting these products, and wouldn't that make an amazing before picture? Yes. Yes, it would. And so that's me. And again, it's about the same amount of time. And people who know both of us, because we actually live and teach in our hometown, we didn't go very far from home. People that know both of us also think that I have lost over 50 pounds. The reality is, I've actually gained weight. So yes, I hate him. If we're being honest, I absolutely hate him. But I also think that it's the craziest thing. And people will say to me, like, I don't believe it. Yeah, right. I don't believe it either, except for the fact that I am living it, right? So I have lost tons of inflammation and inches. And in fact, 4 pant sizes and 3 shirt sizes. I don't know if you've seen it, and I can certainly get it to Michelle and she can share it with you. But I have a kind of I would call it a Plexus famous pants picture where I'm holding my pair of pants. And so that's me. I went from a size 20W to a size 12, and I actually gained weight. Like somebody explain that to me because I can't explain it to anybody, but it's really incredible. Again, I had no idea that I was walking around with that whole body systemic inflammation. And really, at this point, I call that the silent killer, right? I had no idea, but that's really what was happening. And so I'm incredibly thankful for that. My cholesterol and my triglycerides, which had been high for 20 plus years, are now normal and have been for several years now. I know that I've just gone through menopause, and there's a whole reason why I don't know 100%, but I'm going to tell you I know I have, and I really didn't have any symptoms. Like a little bit of like, whew, I'm hot, and then that was it. And so I'm incredibly thankful for our products for helping me get through that point of life where a lot of people struggle with that. And so I could go on and on and on. But I wanted to share one other thing, and it's not product based, it's opportunity based. I was never, right? I was never going to take the products, and you can bet that I was never going to share and tell anybody that we were taking these products because, like, how goofy is that, right? And when things started happening, I couldn't keep it a secret. Like I couldn't not tell people because it was truly that incredible. Oh, one other thing I have to tell you about the products. The third thing that I noticed, and I noticed it for about a week on my own, and then I kind of set Rob up, but he took it hook, line, and sinker. I had asked him, I said, I'm pretty sure that my mood is kind of stabilizing, that I'm not like up and down and losing my noodle and getting super frustrated and all of those things. And so I had said to him, do you notice that? Can you imagine if he would have said no? But he said yes. And of course, he was all for me to keep taking the products. So the thing that I also tell people is I didn't have the money to invest in this, to invest in myself. But I also didn't, I also needed to do that. And it was truly the best investment that I've made for my family. And I always say, ask my family, because they're really the people that are going to tell you what a 180 that it's done for me. But as far as the business opportunity, really quickly, Rob and I are both teachers. Well, we were both teachers. And we seriously lived check to check, you guys. There were so many Wednesdays or Thursdays. We got paid every other week, but there were Wednesdays or Thursdays every other week. We're like, oh, we have to go to the grocery store, but we only have this in our checking account. And so we can only get this. Like, we cannot go over. I can't be the person, at the thing swiping my card and having it telling me no. So we were having to pay attention to what we could get, what we needed to wait on, all of those things. And we actually got caught in a payday advance situation as well. We thought it was just going to be 1 month, but when you get caught in that, you don't really get out ever. It was like, go pay, and I would travel across the city because, again, we live in a small town and I couldn't let anybody know that this was the situation that we were in. But with us both being teachers, we were living literally check to check. And so for 2 years, we were in a payday advance situation. It was awful. Every other week, I had to drive 30 minutes one way to pay off the loan, to take the loan back out. And it just made me sick to my stomach. But Plexus got us out of that. Retirement was never a word in our vocabulary. And I retired. This is my 6th school year being retired. I retired at age 48. That's why I always think 48 is when I started. I started at age 46 with the products, but I retired at age 48. So I've been retired now. This is my 6th school year. Rob has been retired 5 school years, and we were the couple that lived check to check every month. We're not at the top of the company. We're both senior rubies, but with our pensions and with our supplemental income from Plexus, we actually make more money than we did teaching. And so we didn't have a financial plan for anything. Retirement, our kids' college, we've paid for all of that in cash. Crazy enough, making $700 payments a month for a kid to go to school. What? That was not in our plan. So thank you again to Plexus and also our children's weddings. We've had 2 kids now that have been married, and we've been able to help them and pay cash for that as well, which is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So again, that's just a small part of my story, and I took too much time already anyway. But there you have it. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Stacy. I found her picture, by the way. I'm gonna screen share real quick. Ta-da!
Sorry
That's
that they're wrinkled pants. In the post, it says, I'm really sorry they're wrinkled. I just pulled them out of a storage bin that they had been in. So yeah, that's me and
That's
that's
no weight. 0 pounds. That's plus pounds.
yeah.
Crazy. Crazy. I love it. Okay. Thank you, Stacey, for sharing your incredible story. I appreciate you so much. We are gonna flip over now to some business training. So if you want to sign off, thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, connect with the person that invited you here as well. Um, Stacy has agreed to hang out for a little bit longer. We'll see how long she can keep her wind.
Right?
Uh, you don't like Stacy, this you can as much or as little as you want. And she's gonna do some training for us, specifically on posting.
So I told Michelle, you guys, I said the bad thing is once you get me started, it's hard to like make me be quiet. So I apologize. I am super long-winded, but there we are. So I just told her I would be happy to chat with you just about posting effectively. And I'm not here to tell you that I post effectively all the time. What I'm here to tell you is I posted very effectively in the beginning. And then somewhere, right, we start second guessing things and we start doing a little bit differently and we start getting all up in our head. And then it starts to feel weird. And so I want to take you back to when I first started posting, and literally every single post that I would put up there for the first 8 months, it was the craziest thing. That would have 5 people or more reaching out every single post. And it was so crazy. I kept having people say to me, you're going to have to start reaching out to people. You're going to like, no, I'm not. I won't ever have to start reaching out to people because it literally was like, I'd throw up a post and here were 5 people in my inbox. Like, tell me what you're doing. And so I credit, and I haven't told her this, so I need to tell her because I've trained on this quite a bit. But I literally credit Tamara Holloway. She is so Whitney wears my diamond upline and Tamara is above her. But before I even signed up, I went to a Super Saturday. And at the Super Saturday, I decided that I would do it. Like Michelle dragged me to that Super Saturday. I'm like, okay, fine, let's do this. But I heard Tamara talk and she talked about posting effectively. And it just struck me. I'm like, I can do that. Like I can do that. That's really what made me to decide that sure, why not try the business? Because what she's talking about, I can do. And so when we're posting, we really want to think about how can I serve people, right? What kinds of problems can I solve for people? And so many times, and I see so many people do this, and it doesn't mean that it's wrong, but if you are sharing, let's say, your story and you're putting 15 different things like these products have helped me with da 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 da, right? And you list it all out. First of all, that's a lot of stuff for people to read. And second of all, what are you going to say tomorrow? You just told everybody everything that Plexus has done for you in one post in one day. What are you talking about tomorrow? What are you talking about the next day? What are you talking about the next day? And so I can't believe she's recording this because as horrible as this sounds, I want you to think about posting like fishing. Truly. Have any of you fished before? Where are my fisher woman, men? Yes? Okay, there you go. So when you fish, you don't put on this bait and throw it out there and have no idea what you're going to reel in, right? You're putting on different bait for different kinds of fish. Would you agree? Okay. That's honestly what I want you to think about when you're posting. And we don't want to really think about our friends and family as fish that we're reeling in, but it's just it's a good analogy to really think about how to effectively post, right? So when I first started posting, and the thing that Tamara talked about was like, talk about one thing. What is one thing that the products have helped solve for me that I could offer up to somebody else? So, for example, um, like one of my weaknesses was Oreo cookies, right? So she was suggesting when you're in the grocery store and you're in that aisle of cookies, take a picture of the Oreo cookies that you left on the shelf. And your post is really simple. It's a thing that says, I never thought the day would come when I left those behind on the shelf. That's it, you guys. Like, it doesn't have to be this super long post. But what I just said right there in one simple sentence with one picture is going to hit those people who have a real hard time or never leave Oreos on the shelf. And it doesn't have to be Oreos, it could be any cookies, right? They'll be able to translate it over to whatever cookies or whatever sweet thing is theirs. But so those people who have that as an issue, they're like, I would love to give up X, Y, or Z. They're the ones that are going to reach out to me that night. What do you mean you're leaving Oreo cookies on the shelf? How in the heck are you doing that? Tell me more, right? Another example. Rob had been coming home after school and after coaching, and he was sitting in the recliner and he was taking that 2 to 3 hour old man nap. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't. We are not going to be less than 50 years old starting to take the old man nap for 3 hours after school. And so really, honestly, that's why we started the products. And so another post that I did is I took a picture of his empty recliner. And I did a post that said, Rob's recliner has been really lonely the last 3 weeks. Hallelujah. Hashtag hallelujah. Or whatever, hashtag no more naps. Or whatever it is to just show, right, that he's no longer coming home from work and needing to go sit there and not move for 3 to 4 hours. So you're casting that reel, you're throwing that out, and the bait that you have on there is for those people that have zero energy when they get home from work. And so those are the people who are reaching out to us. Another example was at the grocery store, and I looked at my cart and I'm like, oh, who is this person? I had all fruits and vegetables in it. Like, that was not me. So I took a picture of my cart, and one of my posts was, I honestly thought I had accidentally grabbed the wrong cart. Nope, it's mine. Getting your gut healthy makes you do really crazy things. Right? So who's going to contact me? The people who are knowing that they should be putting the fruits and vegetables and the things on the outside of the store in their cart, but they're shopping the middle aisles because that's where they have been shopping, right? So it's just thinking about like, in what ways can we offer a solution to somebody, and how can we make it just a simple, single focused post? Does anyone have an idea of what you could do? Something that maybe the products could help you with, and I'm happy to help you come up with what your super simple post could be. What's an everyday problem that people have?
I posted a picture of my toilet one time and did something along those lines. I'm like, don't have to run to this anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
I could post a picture of my empty coffee container and say I didn't even realize this was empty.
That would be huge, right? Like crazy. I can't believe it's been a week since and I haven't even realized it was empty. Because do you know how many people are so reliant on that coffee that there is no way they would have gone a day or even 2 or God forbid a week without their coffee. And so you are someone who's thinking, I really need to stop drinking this, or I keep getting headaches. And so I really need to stop, having that caffeine every day. They're going to pay attention to your post and they're going to want to know what it is that you're doing that had you not needing coffee.
Also, kicking ibuprofen for all your aches and pains.
100%.
That was a good one.
That's a great one. And I have seen too where people have like emptied out their medicine cabinet, like getting ready to throw a bunch of stuff away. And then they do a post, you know, a picture of that, like check out all this stuff I'm able to get rid of. Who would have thought? And so the person who has a medicine cabinet that is full of stuff can say to you, well, how in the world were you able to do that? I did one time where, and this truly happened, like I found my inhaler in an old purse. And I did a post. In fact, it was just up on my memories the other day. And I did a picture of myself holding the inhaler. And I said something like, I cannot believe that I found this in an old purse, but I haven't needed it for, I haven't needed it for 7 years at this point. I was using an inhaler every single day during allergy season. So that's another way to just, again, provide a solution for something that somebody is dealing with. I dealt with horrible seasonal allergies. Horrible. I've done another one too that's been, like just a number. I hold like a piece of paper that has a number written on it. Like, I don't know, 2000. Well, here, I'm going to show you because some people are like, how in the world would I ever count? Don't you dare ever count all out how many days. So like I started on January 18th night. Let
20.
me see, 20, not 19. I'm like, 19 doesn't sound right. 2016. How many days since January 18th, 2016? 3,185 days. So I don't have to take my calendar out and try to count that all up because that would be a really long time. And my post would take me 3 hours to write. But I just asked my friend Siri and she told me that it was 3,185 days. So I've done another fun thing and I do it every so often where I write on a sheet of paper or, I pretend like I had totaled it up. And so on my calculator, it will say 3,185 if I could do this right. And I'll take a picture of myself holding my camera like this, and I will say, any idea what this number represents? And I sometimes will play a little game where I'll give away something for whoever guesses correctly, but then people will guess, right? Number of whatever, and then I get to say to them in the comments at the end or the next day and do a separate post, it's the number of days since I've even had a sip of pop. And I was a huge pop addict. That's pretty powerful, right? So what is something that you have been without? Or I have a friend who the products helped her to stop smoking. So she's done a post like that a few different times. Like how many, what does this represent? Well, it represents the number of days that I haven't smoked, that I've been smoke free. And that's really powerful when you can show that you kicked that habit, right? That you've been wanting to get rid of, because there's a lot of people who have wanted to get rid of that, but they haven't been able to. Is anyone dealing with that anyway right now that has no idea how to do it? Because I'm going to tell you what I told my friend and it worked. Anybody need to kick that habit? Is she saying that to you, Amanda, because you need to kick it or you already did?
Oh, because I already did.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I've been in recovery and sober for 2 years, but the products help me stay sober because I'm not crazy needing things anymore.
Right. And you know what, you guys, like people don't realize that cigarettes have sugar in them. They don't realize that that's the thing that keeps you coming back. Just like my pop addiction, right? And so it's the same idea. If you can help people to stop the cycle with the whole, I don't want to go into all the stuff, but with the candidies and all of that, and in craving that sugar, you can help them to stop smoking. So my friend Misty had been a smoker for years, like years. And she had been on the triplex for over a year, and she was sitting at my kitchen table. And when she was at my house, she was always very respectful, and she would head outside and she would smoke her cigarettes outside, multiple cigarettes each time she were visiting with me. And so I just at one point had said to her, like, do you want to stop? And she's like, well, yeah, but I have no idea how I would. And I said, well, how about, why don't you add balance? No, block. Sorry, not balance, block. She added block, and that was all she had to do. Obviously, she had to change her mindset a little bit too, right? So she worked on herself, but also added block, which gave her that little extra added thing. So that's a great post for her to do. She can put two, not hold the bottle. We don't want to be an advertisement, right? I mean, we're advertising, but we don't want to look like an advertisement. So she's not going to hold the block bottle, or she's not going to do a block graphic from corporate. She's going to put two block capsules in her hand. Take a picture. And she's going to say, these two capsules are what helped me to kick my 20-year smoking habit. Is that not powerful? And that is not a super long, tell you everything post. And I think so many times we feel like we have to like say all this stuff, and we take an hour to come up with the perfect post. But really, you guys, the one-liners, I think, can sometimes be more impactful. So what questions do you have about that?
Something you can even do is like no caption necessary. Like you put up before and afters are powerful. Like to me, like Stacy's pant picture, no caption necessary. Or a picture is worth 1,000 words, or something like
Right.
you can just, it's an attention grabber, right?
Or there might just be something to this gut health thing.
Yeah.
Another one that I did, I was at an airport, and there were like I had walked in and was just looking at some of the books. And there were 3 books on the top shelf about gut health, different books. And I took a picture, and I said something like, well, will you look at that? We might actually just be onto something. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just me telling you, look it. It's also in the bookstore at your nearest airport. I didn't put that it was the
Something
airport.
else, like since the GLP-1 and the weight loss meds and everything are so popular right now, we have been doing that basically since the beginning of Plexus. All of these other companies are just now figuring it out. So I saw a post of like, all these other companies are just now figuring out. We've been doing it for 16 years. I think Plexus is what's onto something then. Like basic.
That's what I wanted to share with you, though. I mean, truly think about it like fishing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're thinking about what post you're gonna do, it's really like, okay. And honestly, you guys, my husband and I, so now you're gonna have to meet Rob at some event, because
He's the best.
this is the way our minds work. But we were having so much fun. It was fun, like make it fun. And if posting isn't fun for you right now, then you have to change something. Because when it is like, well, whatever, we would laugh about like, okay, what kind of bait are we putting on the hook tonight? And coming up with the idea together and having fun with it and doing goofy pictures. And I'm sorry, sometimes the goofier you can be and the more fun you're having, the more people are going to watch. One of the things we did, and of course he was losing all the weight and I wasn't losing anything. Sorry, that was just is like between the two of us, how much weight do you think we've lost? And again, it was a little game we played. We're going to show you a little bit later. We went to our local grocery store and we made quick little video clips of us. I think it was like at that point which was him, had lost like 15 pounds or something because it was early on in our journey. And we showed 15 pounds of potatoes, and he was like holding them up, and I was taking a video. We went over to the dog food aisle, and then one of us held 15 pounds of dog food. We went and did 15 like loaves of bread. Not that a loaf of bread is a pound, but we figured out how much it was and held that many loaves of bread. We just all probably like 10 different places around the grocery store, and we posted each one of those videos. And we had so much fun doing it. That's the thing. Like, make it fun, because people want to join people who are fun, not people who are like doing an advertisement with a Plexus graphic for Plexus. No. I want to join you because you can offer a solution to me in something that I've been trying to figure out what to do.
Amen, sister. Stacy's fun, you guys.
A blast, especially at almost 11 o'clock at night. I'm super fun at almost 11 o'clock at night. So
Thank you so much for coming on.
you're
We
welcome.
appreciate you, friend.
Thank you so much. And you know what? I don't even know how I found you on Facebook, but somehow I added you as a friend because probably because there were so many mutual friends. But I just love all your posts, and it's just so inspiring. So I am so excited that I got to meet you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad to meet you. And yes, I know that we're
you.
Facebook friends. And it must be because I'm so much fun, especially at close to 11 o'clock at night. Just a blast. So yeah, no, and honestly, you guys, and I do want to say this one last time, and I know Michelle wants to chat with you too, so I'll try not to take the next 20 minutes, but I did do that for the longest time. And I will tell you, I fast started gold when you only had 1 month to do it by
It
doing
was
that.
like almost
Wow.
impossible to fast start gold
It-
way back when.
Yes, 100% it was. I had 19 level ones join me and 1 level 2 in a month. And I
Wow.
didn't
First
think
month.
anyone was going to join me. But it was honestly because of the way I was posting and the way I was sharing, and I wasn't saying plexus, 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 and I was creating that curiosity. And again, somewhere along the way, I started posting differently because I started getting into my head. And I started really thinking about what people were going to think about the posts. And that is the dumbest thing that I could have ever done, because that totally changed the trajectory. So if you're in your head, you need to have fun with it. Like, you need to think of doing it like this and just see if you have to do something different, right? Yes, don't be stuck there. Don't be stuck there. Because that's a hard place to be. So stop worrying about what we even did okay, we cannot sing. We cannot sing to save our lives. I did sing for the Pope at Christmas time when I was a junior in high school, sophomore in high school, but I cannot sing to save my life. I was part of a choir. I maybe mouthed it. I didn't mouth it, but I just listened to everybody around me. But I still get to say that I did that, but that doesn't mean that I can sing. And so one time around Christmas, we did the 12 days of Christmas, and it was Plexus style, and it was Rob and I singing. And really, it ended up being him belting it out, screaming, and me singing for like the first millisecond and then cracking up the rest of the time because it was that funny. And if I ever find those, I'll have to pull those back out of the vault. But I think we only got through like 2, maybe 3 days. But we still had, it was so much fun, and so many people were watching that. And so again, when it gets to be this blah, then you have to do something. Oh yes, there you go. Tiffany's choir teacher told her to whisper. I don't know that mine ever figured out I couldn't sing. I couldn't read music to save my life, so I just listened and sang with everybody else. They're all doing like ta ta ti ti ta, and I'm like, no. Mm-mm. But again, I did get to go and sing for the Pope, so there's that.
Oh my God. I need to see this.
if it'll be around Christmas time, it'll pop back up again, and I'll make sure I share it with
Okay,
you.
I have to see that. Oh my goodness. Even if you just message it to me, I have to see that. I would love it.
Yeah,
It's
we
even
pretty
better
much
when you know her and Rob.
he screams and I laugh the whole time. He screams and I laugh. Like that's pretty much what happened, but got a lot of action. So you guys, should you stop the recording and should we tell them the real story?